So you need to register to the website that was shown previously, and you can take part in the contest. The deadline is 18th. And apart from that, we have different photo booths installed at different locations in the campus itself.
So you all can click your pictures and don't forget to mention Frosty ID.
अच्छा, पंच सर, इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट से इंडस्ट्री नॉलेज लेना कैसा रहेगा?
I mean, sir, it would be great. और ज्यादा great वो तब होगा if we realize those industry experts are from Thapar itself.
और मैं आपको बता दूं, ये इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट्स हमारी ही तरह, आपकी ही तरह, इन्हीं कॉरिडोर्स, इन्हीं क्लासरूम्स और इन्हीं हॉस्टल से निकले और अपनी सक्सेस स्टोरीज लिखने में कामयाब रहे.
Our alumni, ladies and gentlemen, do not require any sort of introduction because their success speak itself.
We believe in one motto: someone's exposure is equal to someone's experience. And likewise, someone's experience is someone's exposure. So, inka experience, the experience that they have at alumni, is your exposure towards the industry. To keep that spirit high, we have the SAIC, the Student Alumni Interaction Cell, with us. The Student Alumni Interaction Cell acts as a bridge between the students and the alumni. Now we will invite the SAIC team with the SAIC team to take over and proceed with the further proceedings of the event. Success is not the result. Success is not the result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. Good afternoon, everyone. The SIG team welcomes you to the Alumni Panel, an event dedicated to the enriching exchange of wisdom and inspiration between those who have charted the course and those who are just beginning their journey. We at SAIC aim to act as a bridge between the alumni and the students. Currently involved in a multitude of ventures, we aim to boost the Student Alumni Corporation and strengthen the alumni relation. We work vigorously to provide you all with a glimpse of what may happen in your future professional lives. Just as fire is kindled from a spark, today is about igniting your potential by learning from those who have already navigated the path you are now embarking on. We are honored to have our distinguished alumni with us who have graciously returned on the campus to share their invaluable experiences, advice, and insights. The stories of their triumphs, growth, and success offer a treasure trove of knowledge that can guide and inspire you as you embark on your own journeys. As you interact with these individuals, do not forget to ask questions, seek guidance, and build connections that will shape your futures. Remember, the stories and lessons that you hear today are not about reflecting on past achievements, but about lighting the way ahead. On that note, I would like to invite the host for our evening, Mr. Danish Sharma. Good afternoon, guys. क्या हाल है? Beautiful faces with the ultra knowledge. आइज में इतने प्यारे प्यारे टीम्स, स्पार्किंग आइज. मैं बहुत ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ इस इवेंट को होस्ट करने के लिए यार. एक्चुअली दिस इज माय फर्स्ट इवेंट जो मैं होस्ट कर रहा हूँ एज अ होस्ट. इससे पहले आई जस्ट परफॉर्मिंग एंड ऑल, तो मतलब अगर मुझसे कोई भी गलती हो प्लीज जस्ट माफ कर दें. ऑलरेडी और टाइम तो नहीं वेस्ट करेंगे, तुम्हारा टाइम ऑलरेडी इज सो प्रीशियस. सो वी विल बी स्टार्टिंग विद इनवाइटिंग द एलुमनाई पैनल. यहाँ पे यार लाइक एवरीवन इज अ इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट ऑब्वियसली. कितना अच्छा लगता है ना जब वी से दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, दिस पर्टिकुलर इन्वेंशन इज ऑन आवर नेम, या फिर वी हैव गॉट आवर जर्नल्स पब्लिश्ड इंटरनेशनली. एक भी हो ऐसा तो हमें कितनी अच्छी फीलिंग आती है. बट टू माय सरप्राइज एंड टू योर सरप्राइज, द फर्स्ट पर्सन इन आवर पैनल is someone who has 7 patents and 8 journals published on his name. Inviting on stage none other than Dr. Pradeep. सबसे इंट्रोडक्शन अच्छे से लेंगे, बट उससे पहले लेट्स मूव टू द अदर पर्सन, नेक्स्ट पर्सन ऑन द पैनल. It was not more than 2 days ago someone from your fresh bank came to me, asked several doubts about chemical engineering कि सर internships का कैसे सीन होता है, how do we study the subjects, what are the mentors that we can look forward for? The only name and the only answer that came in my mind was this one personality. He is actually the most generous and kind personality I have met till now from all the alumni in my academic period till now. Inviting very intelligent Mr. Tarun Jain. Okay, to invite the next personality on our panel, all the ethical hackers, future ethical hackers, people interested in cyber security, I need your help. Sir, ऐसे तो आने नहीं वाले हैं वो. So I need you to give a big round of cheers and applause while I invite the next personality, Mr. Rajneesh Jha. Okay, अगली personality तो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है यार. Do you want me to reveal his name? उससे पहले चलो लेट्स प्ले छोटा सा गेस गेम. जितने भी यहाँ पे कंप्यूटर और टेक geeks हैं यार, हमारी सबकी मोस्टली कॉमन एक बहुत ही मतलब फेवरेट कंपनी होती है जिसके हम ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम बहुत ज्यादा यूज करते हैं. कैन प्लीज समवन नेम दैट कंपनी? यस, द नेक्स्ट पर्सनैलिटी इज डेटा साइंटिस्ट फ्रॉम माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, मिस्टर अनंत अग्रवाल. अगली पर्सनैलिटी भी एक इन्हीं को कंपटीशन देने वाली है. वो भी डेटा साइंटिस्ट है. He has used his prestigious skills to develop anti-COVID AI solution and currently working in McKinsey. And his name is Mr. Tanmay. Welcome, sir. And last but not least in the panel, I'd like to invite someone from the electrical field, currently working as assistant registrar, as assistant engineer at PSPCL, Miss Ranjana Jindal. Okay, so all the time waste नहीं करते हैं. The panel is already here. We'll be obviously starting with a brief introduction about you all. क्योंकि हमने तो obviously research करी है, but we have such a beautiful audience sitting here and they would like to know about you. So can you Um, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the entire campus fraternity, especially the SAIC Society and all of you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Dr. Prateek Sikka. I did my graduation in 2006 from Thapar. I was in Electronics and Communication Department. Then I joined a company called ST Microelectronics. I worked there for 6 years. Then I was working for multiple companies like Mentor Graphics, changed a lot. Then I was a company with called MathWorks, which are the maker of MATLAB. You might have heard. And then I worked for a small time at Cadence. Then 5 years at NXP Semiconductors, which is a Dutch-based semiconductor company. And then I joined back this my first company, ST Micro. And then after graduating from Thapar, I did my post graduation from IT Delhi while working at SD. So I was pursuing this course while doing the job, and also my PhD from BITS Pilani in the field of microelectronics. So yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tarun Jain, and I'm a chemical engineering graduate. I graduated in 2018, and I was campus placed at Jubilant Life Sciences. So I stayed in my core engineering area, hardcore design engineering. So I worked in Jubilant for 3 years, and then I moved to SRF for 2 years in Gurgaon as design engineering role. Then I moved to Kellogg Brown and Root. It's a US-based MNC for licensor role. Now currently I'm working as a joint manager in technology design group in RT Industrial Limited, which is based out in Vadodara. So thank you for having us here and great to see you all. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So how are you doing? Excited? Okay, nice. So it really feels wonderful to be back here after I think 3 years. So I passed in 2020 batch from here. So I can very well recall myself like back in 2016 when I was also sitting here just in this crowd, and there were countless questions in my mind. So it really feels wonderful to be back. My name is Ranjana Jindal. I am currently working as an assistant engineer SDO at Punjab State Transmission Corporation Limited (PSTCL). I graduated in 2020 BE Electrical Engineering. So I'm a gold medalist of my batch. Then I pursued MTech in Control System Specialization from NIT Kurukshetra. Then I have 1 year corporate experience as R&D intern at Stryker, global medical technology company based in Gurgaon. And after that, I switched from corporate to government job here in PSTCL as an assistant engineer. So it's been 2 years now. So looking forward to interacting with you all here. Thank you.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Myself Rajneesh, I'm an electrical engineer from batch of 2020, part of Schneider Electric. Earlier I was responsible for SCADA solution, PV automation in control. Now I'm looking after the cybersecurity part for operational technology, responsible for complete Middle East, UAE, Qatar, and APAC. So great to be back here, interacting with you guys, and looking forward for it.
Hey people, Anand this side. I'm a graduate from electronics and computer from Thabar 2020 batch. Currently, I'm working with Microsoft as a data scientist, where I take care of lot of things co-pilot related. Like we develop lot of co-pilots. I think you must have used Big Copilot and all those co-pilots. I like was a part of their development, all those things that you see that you might be using in Windows, and so I developed that. I'm very much interested in data science. Like that is what I like to do. I and I really love to help people, especially my juniors. So if you have any doubt in future, feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn. I'll be very happy to help. Thank you.
Right, and that is right. So I am to currently graduate of computer science branch. Uh, in my last year of college, I co-founded a startup. I was a founding member, data scientist at a startup called Data Girl. I worked there for a month. I worked there for 1 full year. Then I joined a real money gambling company called GameStop. I worked there for 2 years as a lead data scientist. Then I joined McKinsey as a data scientist. I've been here for almost 2 years now. I'm a data scientist. I primarily do talent analytics, so hiring across all levels is something that you might be interested in, I suppose. Other than that, really looking forward to your questions. Please expect pragmatic answers. I'm not somebody who will give you idealistic answers. Yeah, looking forward to it.
It's possible knowledge of personalities. They have already had so many questions in my mind, but we'll be for shortly going with the questions that we have listed. We have taken from freshers and some from other team members. So, sir, before starting with the core details and education is a question, let's begin have a revisit to your college life and all. So, I would like if you could share any incident from your college life that left a deep impact on you, that changed something in you and you admire it. I wish anyone who have for them all of you could answer the question.
So one very significant moment in my college life was, of course, winning Smart India Hackathon. So it was the first edition of Smart India Hackathon. That was, sorry, second edition, if I'm not wrong. It was in 2019. Uh, so from start to finish, it was my dream that the hackathon be organized in Mumbai and at least our common statement, and that turned out to be the case. So that was, of course, a very big highlight for me. Then, on top of that, we did get the solution that we wanted, which was from the Unilever supply chain problem. We got there. We worked on our solution for 3 straight months. We got there. We met our mentors from Hindustan Unilever, and our solution went in the bin. They were very candid, and they told me that okay, this will not work. We have tried this already. Then the next 36 hours that followed are probably the most eventful in my entire 4 years. It might seem like an understatement, but for somebody who regularly participates in hackathons, I'm sure you would understand. Then we ended up winning, and of course, it did lead to all my career stints. It is still a significant achievement that I put in my CV, and it is more often than not a point of conversation also in interviews, even after almost 5 years of doing that. So that is one of my most memorable.
Absolutely fine for me, and I'm sure last year many from our college, I mean, I'm sure freshers are here. They also bring out many awards this year too. Okay, please, sir. So I have one like memory. I remember so in my first year I was a very lazy student. Okay? I used to wake up very late and then sleep very late also. Like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. I used to sleep. So there's a professor in computer science department, Dr. Prakash Singh Rana. So he gave me a very good scolding. Ki, you need to be consistent. Like even if you decide, let's say you need to learn something, just spend 30 minutes, 15 minutes on it, but you need to do it daily. So that is one thing which has been there in me since I think like 2016, 17 when I got that whole lecture from sir. So I'm very indebted to sir for that lecture, and that is one thing that I would also like to pass on to you guys. Like if you decide something, just stay consistent. Just spend even 15 minutes on it. So yeah, I think that was my memory, the most memorable thing from college. प्रशांत नारायण प्रॉब्लम को बहुत गलत फीचर है स्टेटमेंट्स नहीं मैं करूंगा तुम क्यों कर मैं कर लेता हूँ
I'll not be sharing any academic mandate because I as such I'm a diploma guy. Anyone here from any core branch, electrical, civil, mechanical? Such okay, we have a couple of. So for me, like I was mostly a part of all the society, whatever you name it, be it certain area, Mudra, except for TFF, which you understand later why I was not part of that society. But all those memory created being part of those teams and these events, the backend stages that can be hosting Benny Dayal, any of Abhishek, Manu, Rahul, all those big events. These are some of very special memory which I have from college. And to all the electrical students, uh, I mean, you'll be interacting with many professors into your second year, third year, and there is special mention for a teacher, Manveer Kaur ma'am. All the learnings, the wise, I mean, words, what she told is a lifetime of learning for me, and I'm very thankful for all the strict classroom etiquettes which she taught to all the classrooms. So that's all from me.
So, like as Rajneesh stated, he was part of each and every society, and I think I was opposite of that. Not all the societies. My participation in societies was a bit less because I was more of academic guy. So he mentioned Mandeep Kaur madam. Uh, I was her favorite student. So special thanks to her as well. And there are so many teachers other also. I would like to mention about Santosh Sonar sir. I did my capstone project under him. It was design of hybrid single phase solar inverter with PFC, power factor converter. So that was a great learning for me, full of challenges, and his guidance was like very appropriate and learned me to achieve great heights. So yeah, thank you.
तो हाय गाइस खाना खा लिया सबने आवाज नहीं आ रही आपको come on now I can hear you great so I don't have any academic example कि मुझे किसी inspire but I'll tell you inspirational stories की जिनका हम पे impact आया so the most impactful thing जो होगी ना basically खाना basically so रात को जो भूख लगती है so at our time in 2014 15 16 so boys पे कोई restriction नहीं होता था so boys could go out anytime girls का तो तब भी 9:30 के राउंड था still we were lucky enough but boys के लिए there was no restriction so we could go out even at 4 a.m. in the morning so उसमें ऐसा होता था कि like we also had a very good group day scholars भी थे साथ में और हम इंजीनियर्स भी साथ में रहते थे जो क्लासमेट्स थे तो एक बंदे को भूख लगती थी, तो सबको उठाता 3 बजे, यार भूख लगी है। और उसमें हमें जाना है खाने भी, उसको पराठे हैं, राजेंद्र के वो भी, ठीक है, वो भी बाहर गए। So we used to always wake up Ballu. So Ballu used to be the strongest guy in our group. So Ballu would wake up everybody. So he would wake up everybody at 4 a.m. कि जिसको नहीं भी खाने उसको भी साथ में लेके जाता था। So we would arrange 2 bikes कि बाहर फोन करके आओ भाई तुम भी आओ। तो वो जो अपने घर पे भी सो रहे हैं वो भी आते हैं। ठीक है भाई तुम भी खाओगे। So I think the Ballu's leadership always used to inspire us a lot. So I would say that I would like to share. Okay, I have. Am I audible? Yes. One memory I would like to share, which was converted into a learning. Again, slightly on the humorous side, we had a concept of, I don't know if it's still there. We had non-credit courses, which had no. I mean, उसमें जो grade है, it does not count to your CGPA. I think. हाँ, so there was a course about environment and sustainability. So when you hear the course name, it kind of creates you that kind of feeling कि ये course हम क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं. It's still there. And there was, I remember a teacher from humanities who was taking that course. And what we did was, the class was very notorious class. I mean, it was a mixed batch tha, usme mechanical, electrical, civil, all sorts of branches were there. And that time, I remember teacher used, they didn't have the laptop projectors that time. They were bringing the slides, nahi hota tha pehle. I don't know if you have seen it. Like, that transparent sheet with black written on it, and you put it on the projector and it will project the notes on the screen. So that projector ma'am used to carry into the class. And वो class avoid करने के लिए what few group of students did that they broke the class का जो that PowerPoint जहाँ पे you put the projector. And ma'am was like कि आप लोग ये करते हो. Next day she gave a warning. Next day someone put a pen inside the hole and broke the pen. This was the next day. And third day, teacher said, enough is enough. मैं आपके बैच को नहीं पढ़ा रही हूँ. And there was a complaint made to the dean of academic affairs, and he came to the class. And he told us one thing in front of the teacher कि आपको ये ऐसा लग रहा है कि course non-credit course are ऐसे ही, इसका कोई importance नहीं. But that time I realized some of these courses are very very curatively designed, and they actually teach you a lot of things which you don't get to learn in other courses. Why I'm saying this is when you talk about courses like intellectual property rights, economics, engineering economics, which do not seem directly linked to your specialization, but in one way or the other, once they change your perspective to things, it creates a lot of impact. So I personally believe that that was a good learning for me. Right. These were really great insights, and I'm sure आपकी learnings इन सब को impact मुझे भी help करेगी, especially about the extra courses. मैं भी बहुत time ये सोचता हूँ कि why am I studying these courses? ये तो काम नहीं आने. But somewhere I feel कि हाँ, these somewhere change the moral values and thinking correctly of. Okay. Also, guys, so we'll have to leave us in a few minutes. So अगर आप में से किसी को specific research के लिए questions हैं, तो please raise your hands. I don't see any for now. Okay. Yes.
Actually, I wanted to know. Hello. So I'm a student of COPC branch. I wanted to know that going for hackathons and Google Summer of Code will actually help me in placements or not. Because Google Summer of Code is open source projects and at placements you require DSA. So what should I do at this point of time?
From yeah, so you are in your first year, right? Don't fret about all these things. Just first year, explore everything. Like you started exploring DSA. Okay, DSA is something that you said. In first year, I didn't know. DSA, there is something called DSA, there is something called GLO. In first year, just explore everything that you have. for your branch, for anything that you like, be it app development, be it crypto, be it electronics, everything. You explore everything, then you decide what you need to do, and whatever you will do, it will help you somewhere. Like to specifically to answer your question, if you do, even if you do GSOC, GSOC can help you in your placements a lot. Like it will teach you how to write code and how to put that code into use. That can be used by other people, and that is what you are expected to do when you join industry. So it's not something that this will help or this will not help. Just start exploring and start doing things, and then bet upon all these things later.
So we will forward some questions to you from our side. The next, the first question is okay. Oh, stop.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. I am Bani from Electronics Batch. I just want to ask that you have sir, early noticed that there is no there is no right skill people. Sometimes we take multi-skill cases together, and we fed up and stuck in the situation. What should we do in that situation?
So your question is, can we take up multiple skills?
You have said that people don't have right skill set.
Right skills. Yes.
Even in the recession.
Yes. So in the, I mean, you were there in the previous session,
Yeah.
right? So it's a very good point. I would like to emphasize for the benefit of others who came. Um, we were talking about employment opportunities, and we keep on saying that in this era of let's say there is a economic recession, jobs are cutting down, so there are no jobs left. But on the other side, I see that a lot of companies are actually hiring, hiring in big numbers, but their positions are not getting filled. So what I want to say is that, and I have personally experienced it myself, being a hiring manager now at ST, even at NXT in the past, even at Qualcomm, Mentor Graphics, I've seen that uh, it is very difficult to find the right talent. I can tell you a very recent experience, uh, and I was talking to someone in the corridor. Uh, I was recently interviewing a BTech candidate from IIT Kharagpur. He was an electrical engineering graduate, and when I asked him about flip-flops, I mean, you will study about flip-flops later, you are first year, but those of you who know about electronics, there is a flip-flop is a basic synchronous element that makes up the circuit. I asked him questions, he didn't know much about it. Then I came down to basic electrical engineering concepts, which you study in first year. And believe me, that person did not know the units of resistance. Can you believe it? So now my point is that okay, sure, he might be doing 10 different skill sets. He might be doing hackathons, he might be doing tons of coding, he might be developing some hardware on his own. But I don't care. See, then the problem is that finding the right talent is a challenge. But don't put your hand, like you said, don't put your hand into everything. First, have your basic platform ready, then build some verticals on top of it. Like, for example, you are good in Verilog, so you can start for a career in front end design. But then don't talk about, you know, 20 other things, which will spoil your attention to one subject. But having said that, that does not mean that you choose that from day one, like you said. Don't start looking at, explore everything. Then find out which is the right thing that gives you that kick, which is your favorite, which is something that you're liking the most, and then build your vertical on top of that, which is equivalent to in the academic world doing a PhD. So how do you do a PhD? You first do your BTech, get your concepts right, then you do MTech in antenna, VLSI, communication, or whatever, structural engineering. For civil students, it will be structural, mechanical will be automotive, or machine design, or whatever. And then you do PhD into a very uh, focused one area of topic. Same thing happens in the industry. So don't put your hand into 10 different things that you screw up everything. So choose what fascinates you most, but focus on the basics and be open to learn new things. It will help you.
Thank you, sir.
Very good insight. So, usi related, I had one question like, we hear term a lot semiconductor industry. Indian government is also emphasizing on it. There are many projects being done on it. So, can you just like elaborate this term for me and other students? Like, what all falls under this bracket and how far is it going to go? And what are the future?
Uh, by the way, semiconductor is you can say a field coming under electronics per se, but it is now penetrating into multiple segments. Okay. When you say cars, look at modern day cars, look at modern day phones, look at modern day equipment in your houses, be it Alexa, Google Home, your smart appliances, smart ACs. Everything is getting uh, uh, focused on a semiconductor, focused around semiconductor. So all the controllers that are used in these devices are made up of semiconductor chips. Now, when it comes to semiconductor industry per se, you rightly said there is a lot of shift of focus from the government. There are mainly two aspects of it. One is the design part of the semiconductor, which are done by companies like ST, where I work. There are other companies like NXP, Infineon, Qualcomm, which are into mobile chipsets, for example, Snapdragon platforms. You might have heard. There are companies like NVIDIA who are doing graphics, GPUs, AI server stacks, all that thing. And there are companies which are on the back-end side of things, which are in the fabrication space. So fabrication was so far in the last 2 decades or so lagging aspect in Indian context. But now with the Prime Minister Modi's working in the sense of getting investment into semiconductor, and I would say interest from the outside fabs and sponsors also to set up fabrication in India. We do have discrete devices manufacturing, like in SCL Mohali, if some of you might have heard, Semiconductor Complex Limited. There are few discrete device manufacturing companies like Continental Device India Limited, CDIL, that is in Narayana, New Delhi. I did my internship there in that company. So they manufacture small discrete devices like diodes and transistors, right? But they are into manufacturing, but they don't do complete circuit implementation of the silicon. So these are the two aspects. Design, of course, there are a lot of companies today, and they keep on growing. There are a lot of startups coming up in design, in semiconductor design. But fabrication, I would say a little bit question mark, because one thing, it's the one peculiar thing about fabrication is that it's the most cleanest industry. It requires the most clean environment, and it's also the most dirtiest industry in terms of waste management. See, so that's where the challenge lies, and the technology load is changing so fast that it is no longer profitable after few years. So there is some bit of resistance from people to put in money uh, into that. So if I ask for software startup, you will find thousands of them, because it's easy to from a logistic point of view to have a software startup, because you need a laptop and few tools around it. But for semiconductor manufacturing, it's a big ball game, and people are slightly hesitant to put in money. But now with the, I think the latest investment was about Gujarat. There is a manufacturing plant coming up, and backend manufacturing Micron is putting up in Gujarat. So let's hope to see good progress on that front also.
So, the time for you. I have one question for you all, which I would like to know. Was there any kind of hobby or hidden talent that you discovered in your college life and you still enjoy doing it?
I have to leave, so maybe I'll take the question first. Uh, that time we were having, so there used to be this cultural fest Saturn area in college, and there was a hostel-wide program also, cultural program, hostel nights. So I was in hostel B, and one of my friends impromptu called me, "Ki Prateek is going to sing a song for us." So I tried my best, but it was a disaster. I must acknowledge. But yes, I enjoyed it though. I mean, it was fun because it was all friends, and we enjoyed it. And I feel that I should practice more singing, after that disaster, which I'm still trying by the way. So that was one thing.
Maybe short forward for 45 questions from your side. I guess now it's time. I will take a lead. Sorry for that. If there are any follow-up questions, you can always connect me with on LinkedIn, or you can drop me an email. We can always catch up. Thank you so much. We keep moving with the questions. Question. The question was there any specific hobby or hidden talent that you discovered during your college life and you still enjoy doing it? Yeah, like in college, I never started drinking, to be honest. I never used to. But all of my friends used to drink a lot. So my basic responsibility was to get them back to hostel safely. So many times I have done that, keeping their butts in the autos and then bringing them safely to the hostels. And I still do that in my companies also when people are. So I think that was one talent that I later on realized it was a big thing. Nobody paid for it, but it was a big thing.
I was fascinated, like you all have seen, the new library is very awesome. Uh, at, uh, at our time, this library was built in the final year. So in final year, we were very excited. Like I was very excited that library is just awesome. It is no less than a library of five-star hotel or more than that. So I used to issue and read books. Some of the good books that I read, those were like I would suggest you all to read. One was Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think that is worth reading. Is there anyone who has already read that? So there are. And there are many books other as well. I used to read, get them issued, so I enjoyed them. Like The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and there was one more book, The Alchemist. So I you have read that. Okay. So nice. So I used to enjoy that. Once I started getting the books issued, I was interested in reading more and more books like this, night reading. So this was my hobby that I discovered.
Like being the part of most of the society, I came across Rotary Club and getting some of the events which are about CSR. That was one of my favorite hobby which I developed and which I'm doing right now. Even being part of Schneider Electric, leading the DEI diversity and inclusion for Pan India. Now also I'm associated with the Rotary Club of DIT. Being part of Jagriti, various blood donation camps. We, during my tenure, I mean, we broke three records of having the most number of donations made by any academic institute on the same stage, I mean, couple of years back. That was, I mean, one of the big which I had.
So in college, I learned दो दिन बिना सोए भी जिंदा रह सकते हैं, which I didn't know earlier. That was like a eye-opening moment for me. Apart from that, I realized I can do design. Earlier, I thought I'm very bad at design. So, like for first 2 years of college, I was the main designer who used to design all the posters for events and all. So that is one thing I realized, which I can also do design. I'm quite good at colors also. But that is still there with me. Yeah, but I don't. I sleep daily once in 24 hours. So अब मैं 2 दिन नहीं सकता. So I will not recommend that also.
Like say for 2 days, we make it out. But the real answer is I discovered a passion for cocktails and, and finding out how much what a hangover is basically. That is what I really discovered. But the learning answer is philosophy. I never thought I would read. I mean, philosophy is definitely fiction, but it also very well it is also applicable to your daily life, depending on what sort of philosophy you end up reading. Uh, so I read a lot of very contradictory philosophies. So, for example, nihilism. Nihilism is simply everything is meaningless. And there's of course stoicism, then writers like Jordan Peterson and stuff like that. So two very contradictory interests, cocktails and philosophy. I don't know if they gel well.
Right now. Okay. So, Answer, my question is for you. Like I read your profile and all, and I was it was quite impressive that how you had a great networking strategy and you did projects under many faculty members and other institutes too. So how can students effectively network with professors or industry professionals and use them for their benefit and also for the benefit of the industry? So there is one thing you should never think how they can benefit you. You should first realize how you can help them. If you can help them, they'll help you. Like, and for all the professors who are in Kappa especially, they all have rooms. Okay, they have their own desk and all. You can just go out to them and ask them, like, especially if you are in first year, sir, I want to do this, and I want to learn this. They'll for sure guide you what all you can do and what all you cannot and how to start. That's how I started machine learning. I think my second semester or something. And for outside Thapar, you can just mail them. You mail 100, you mail 1,000, you will get response from 5, and that's how you make networks. Just make it a habit. You are interested to work with someone, draft a mail, send it over. You will just don't get disheartened. I sent hundreds of mails, I have not received any response. You will learn. In 1,000, you will get 5. So that would be, and that is, I'd say, is a very high success rate also. And that is how you make networks and then learn. Any questions from the audience side to anyone of the panel members? Yes, sir. Put the mic is passed on.
Hi, my name is Manmohan. I want to ask, in a few days, I've heard a lot of words like DSA, web dev, cybersecurity, and maybe if you want to work in the front end, back end, a lot more. But I don't know even a single thing about it. So how do I start like knowing even a bit about it? Because I want to start from the beginning. I don't know. I don't have any like person in contact who can ask everything. So how do I start knowing it?
Which year? Oh, all sessions. Okay. Awesome. Uh, so let me give you the big picture first, and then I'll share the answer to you. My sincere belief is that the first year is to experiment and try out a lot of things. So to cater to you, the answer would be try out a different course for each. Say if there's cybersecurity, then you can go for even say machine learning, data science. Me personally, I had a lot of practice in C++ by virtue of studying in school. So when I came to college, I did a lot of hacker rank. I went to the global leaderboard, then I quit. Did not anything on it. Then I moved to machine learning. I really enjoyed it, so I pursued it. But if I was you, I would do a simple course in web dev, maybe try out building small into projects. But each project has to have a very concrete use case. You cannot just build a website for anything, for like selling shares or something like that. It has to have a very specific use case. So you find out what it is actually used for. Then you go on to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is definitely that's something is extremely interesting and it still fascinates me to this day. But I do not spend the time to study it, honestly. Machine learning, it is definitely that will take up a lot of your time and it is an extremely mathematical subject. But if you enjoy it, it will definitely pay you very well. So my advice is very simple. Step one, do course, build project. Does it interest you? No. Do course, go. Do course, do project. Doesn't interest you? No. Simple as that. DSA is something that you can pursue for a little longer since it does develop problem solving skills also. So initially you might find problems very easy when you have to just manipulate a list, manipulate a data frame. But as you go to say a medium level problem, then you might, end up developing problem solving skills also. So that any other question, any further question?
I also want to ask, like, if we search like something on Google, like we get a lot of things associated with that, which also we don't know. So it's like we always like to search for that.
Information overload.
Yeah. So,
So you must know, let's just say you spend 2 hours looking for cybersecurity. you must know how to condense that information. Take notes, be it online or offline. Take notes, attach links, but at the end of your search, say you search for one full hour on cybersecurity, you must condense that information and chart out concrete steps. Okay, step one is this, step two is this. I'm looking for a course. What is a good course? What is a good expert to look for a cybersecurity? Do I want to do a long course or a short course? I would suggest a course no longer than 4 5 hours. Short, bite-sized course. You can build something out of it. Find if it interests you. At the end of your research, again, concrete steps, and you need to distill that information. You can always spend 24 hours, 48 hours, your entire lifetime just looking on Google for cybersecurity. Validate the quality of the course. It cannot be some random media article. It has to be from a very good person who has written, who has work experience with that particular. That is one.
Any other questions from the audience side?
Hello everyone, Keshav is this side. I want to ask you everyone for to address academic challenges you guys face because right now we are having fun events going on and it feels like silence before thunderstorms.
I mean, for academic, very good question, which might be running in other minds as well, but they didn't say out. What I understand, I don't know if the curriculum has been revised, but in our time it was relative math, right? It's still the same. So our agenda for clearing the exam, scoring well was looking after the lab parts, the tutorials. Before EST you can make it out whether you are passing the exam or not. So just think in that direction, make your lab reports, whatever you want to do, copy paste projects, build your own, or I mean, getting it built from local Patiala stores. Okay? So just look at all those components. Don't think that I am studying at the end for the end semester or at the end of the MSc, but all the components which ultimately add scoring just in the last end semester. It is very difficult. Ultimately, 40% or 35% is what going to add in your final numbers. Rather on the lab parts, tutorials, projects, I mean, all other components is what gonna decide your first year and CGPA.
I would like to suggest, firstly, be consistent. Like those last night studies, they are fine to score good marks, but be consistent. Sorry. And then balance your academics with your extracurricular activities. While learning for any subject, see, it's not only the written exam. There are other components as well, as Rajneesh does not told. Lab is there, tutorial is there. So you can work upon those areas where you can score well. You can like smartly work. And then cramming should not be there. You should clear your basic concepts and you should study in such a way that you're preparing for your placements as well. Or you have to appear for other exams. So that should be kept in mind, not just these like you have to score here only. That should not be the target. You should clear your concepts in such a way that you are able to sit in placement exam when you are doing the subject here technically. Like for coding people, DSA subject is there. For electrical, core subject is machines control system. So whenever that subject comes in your semester, you should prepare that in such a way that you'll score well in the exam also, and simultaneously it is getting prepared for your placement preparation. So if you'll work that way, I think you will succeed.
So basically, your faith is totally genuine. You're right. It is indeed a silence before the storm. That will happen eventually. So you will be having a lot of subjects and a lot of papers piled up, a lot of examinations coming back and forth. But again, in the previous session also we talked about this and we discussed a lot that it's all about your individual game plan. So it's not that because you will be all of a sudden you will be among the herd of 3,500 approximately. So 3,500 students. So like our time we 1,200. But it was still a fine accommodable students, like इतना load नहीं था, but still competing in 3500 it's a bit, सुन के ही थोड़ा मुझे भी घबराहट होती है कि यार what to do. But I'm sure like you guys will also be a little insecure कि क्या होगा first year में, we are not used to this. Already कितने अभी जेई कितने देते हैं लोग इंडिया में? 14 lakhs. ओके, तो ऑलरेडी 14 लाख से तो भाग के इधर आए, तो अब दोबारा यही सब चालू रहेगा, तो वी अंडरस्टैंड, बट अगेन इट्स ओनली, बट यार यहाँ पे ये भी कंसेप्ट नहीं है ना फर्स्ट ईयर वाला, अब सीओई में कितने हैं? तो मुझे ये पूछना चाहिए सीओ में कौन नहीं सीओई है, right? So it's like competition all throughout. But again, if you are going to keep this same mindset now, कि somebody will go ahead, there is always going to be a bigger fish, always. So it's all about making your own game plan. You have to analyze your own strengths and weaknesses. You have to work on yourself. That's it. कोई बाजू में क्या कर रहा है? Literally, you need to ignore that, and you have to focus on your strengths and weakness and your area of interest, कि what you want to follow and where in which career you want to pursue your dreams. So that's the way you have to be focused. Otherwise, things will be there. Difficult situations will happen. Like in our batch also there will be like well, huge competition, really difficult competition, and I've seen very great people getting failed at normal activities just because of that depression, and which literally looks painful. कि यार, a talented guy just because of this activity, because he used to take things seriously, looking here and there. यार यहाँ क्या जा रहा है वहाँ क्या, why is he studying more? एक बंदा ये देखता है कि इसकी लाइट ज्यादा देर तक खुली है, ज्यादा पढ़ पाएगा ना, तो लेटर ऑन ये रियलाइज कि लाइट खुली में ही सोता है. So that's what I'm just saying. Just make your own game plan and just work on yours, and just forget you are around 3700. So next question. Next question. I'll go right to that. Basically, there were 5 to 6 freshmen that approached me during the academic section. They asked me about chemical engineering. कि भैया थर्ड इंजीनियरिंग में हमें शायद इंटर्नशिप और सब इम्पोर्टेंट होती है, हमें मेंटर्स लेना इम्पोर्टेंट होता है, तो आप हमें कुछ गाइड करिए. तो मेरे पास तो कुछ आंसर नहीं था, बट आई हैड जस्ट योर नेम इन माय माइंड. तो आई होप उनमें से कोई यहाँ बैठा हो और आप उनको अगर आंसर दे सकें कि क्या आपकी जर्नी रही, हाउ डिड यू लैंड इन इंटर्नशिप एंड हाउ डिड यू लैंड इन योर प्रोफेशन एग्जैक्टली, आपका पास क्या रहा था, तो इफ यू वुड लाइक. Well, basically, I can answer this question on behalf of core engineering because I was hardcore engineering guy, chemical engineer from the starting, and I stick to my chemical engineering. And most of the guys from my batch also they moved to non-core startups and other companies, Accenture and all, because Accenture is a kind of company which hides from everywhere, right? Right? Everybody's posting on LinkedIn Accenture. So I was like, the world is at Accenture these days, not at Shatter University. So these things happen. So I would say, see, core is a. Can I again ask you a question? How many of you are from core engineering branch? Except computer science, like everything, like mechanical, biotech, chemical, or civil. Okay, few, not. But again, I can again, yeah, many hands are there. So I would say it's more of a practical oriented engineering. It's not a laptop based engineering. It's you need to see things. So if you need to see things and you have to work on practical scale now, so internships become really important. So back in 2016-17, our department, what they did, इन्होंने internship ही हमारी close कर दी second year के बाद. एक करिकुलम से हटा दी. एक तो पहले हम लोगों को पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता, वो internship भी डालती हुई, तब और बड़ा कर हुआ धीरे. So that's the trend. So I always tell those people that internships are really important. So it's not only because of your personal growth, उससे एक networking भी generate होती है. Second key is networking. So you need to connect with people, like make your accounts on LinkedIn, update your profiles, connect with the kind of people who have been there in your similar branches, वो किस एरिया में काम कर रहे हैं. So you network with them. So उसके बाद जो connections बनते हैं, trust me, they are very helpful. I had an experience when I got the second, I switched to the second job. So the guy was basically MTech from Thapar itself, 2006 or 7 pass out. So I just told him, do you have a vacancy in your company? He said, yes, I do have. So I was like, करो ना कुछ setting, करो ना. So he literally put my CV on the HRs, and that's how things work. ऐसा नहीं होता HR आपके यहाँ पे आ चल रहे हैं, आइए चलिए चलिए, so we have an opportunity for you, we will take you. आपके लिए इंतजार हो रहा था. We have entire, ठीक है ना, entire organization waiting for you to work. ऐसा नहीं होता है. So you need to act really smartly. You need to have connections in the right place. So that after campus placement, आप यहाँ से भी चले जाओगे. यहाँ पे ऐसा होगा Like you will be in the room, you will be getting an interview. If you do well in that time, you'll be going through. But उसके आगे जो अलग challenge आता है start होता है, that is switching the organizations, and that happens through referral system. So that's why if you start making that network from the right now, so when you graduate, you will have an entire web created. So people will be knowing you. So that's what I always recommend people to start networking more and more and more, and go to the places, go to the internships, meet people, do projects, and explore more and more. So that's what I will say. Connecting is the key. लेकिन अब केवल इतनी सारी जगह there have been important ones very how even I sit in meetings of my seniors जो passed out हैं वो आपस में मीटिंग कर रहे हैं किसी में उसमें जबरदस्ती बैठ गई मुझे बैठ के सुनने दी that actually helps out a lot बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आता but at least पता लग जाता है कि वर्किंग कैसे हो रही है ऑफिस में ओके सर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन मैं जी सर आपको देना चाहूँगा कि see the way you switch your total means total branch shift electrical electronics की साइड से you shifted toward the cyber security side. तो उसके बीच में जो transition था, what were the major challenges that you faced and जो अभी भी challenges चल रहे हैं, जैसे every day there are new standards coming in cyber security और every day it's getting tougher. Like हम किसी hackathon में पार्ट ले रहे हैं, जैसे हम करने बैठे हैं, पता लगता है 3 साल पहले हो गया. So like how do you cope up with that? How did you cope with all of the changes and challenges?
So like my background was more of pure technical guy. From 10th, I shifted diploma into electrical, degree into electrical, and my first role being Schneider Electric, pure technical role, deputy manager, SCADA automation. So while performing, I mean, various projects along with many reputed customers, interactions, and all, I saw that there is some boom on the cybersecurity into operational technology side. Cybersecurity, when we mention it, is a huge field. Cannot even think of how many subsections, domain, roles, position, designations it can have. So my interest was mostly on the operational technology, securing your critical infrastructure, manufacturing industry, power and grid data centers on those sides. So, I mean, being from electrical, moving towards cyber, that global, I mean, Middle East or UAE, where already they are decades advanced on the controls or on the solution. So I have invested quite some time, quite a few heavy certification. I mean, the most recognized OT certification, which is the ISA IEC automation certification, almost it's cost single certification cost 2 lakhs. And with daily, there should be some new guidelines, framework, global standards coming. So, I mean, this is not particularly for me, but for the whole industry. There is no one into cybersecurity which, I mean, who can say I'm aware about all the frameworks, all the growing technology. Everyone is learning, and so am I, right? So, my aspiration, or when I was interviewed with zero experience into IT, or on the cyber side, my aspiration was very clear that yes, I want to do it. My soft skill on the learning side, on the certification, I want to invest some time, and that's how I got this opportunity. And currently working on all these global customers or projects. If any one of you is looking towards making a career into any of these developing fields, cybersecurity, sustainability, AI, ML, data analytics, or business analytics, you will have to have some add-on over your, I mean, peers or friends or colleagues. Okay? You will have to have some add-ons on certification, like projects, understanding upon what is happening globally. I mean, you might have heard about the recent major outage of CrowdStrike, which left all the computers, airports, and everything. I mean, outdated due to a very minor error, and it costed billions of rupees or dollars. So, if you are interested into any of these fields, just study around, look for various short courses or certification. I mean, being a part of Thapar, you will have some access to very recognized websites, right? Research Gate and all those things free of cost. Coursera or Udemy have some certification and explore if this is the right thing which you want to do. As I mentioned, for you it is first year. Don't take your mind into any single domain that okay, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, there is a very famous quote.
good at all, master of none, but oftentimes it is better than uh, others. So have a taste of various field, and then you decide coming into your second year, third year, that which one you actually want to.
Basically, one of the young you mentioned, I was coming to that as you both are there, so from Microsoft and you being cybersecurity. The recent incident that happened with Microsoft Windows, like official Windows they crashed for a while, and that actually caused a lot of loss to many companies and also to like many people personal of. तो उसके पीछे बेसिक रीजन क्या था टू गिव ग्राउंड लेवल इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट इट मतलब एक्चुअली हुआ करना एंड हाउ कैन दैट अफेक्ट ऑन अ पर्सनल लेवल डेटा क्या उसमें कुछ डेटा ब्रीच का रिस्क था या फिर क्या ऐसा हुआ था जो
So CrowdStrike event was not a cyber incident; it was data explored. I mean, when the company explained what it actually happened and why it happened. It was looked towards the cyber incident because ultimately CrowdStrike is an antivirus company and Falcon system which they provide interface Microsoft operating system. So once you go into your engineering, you find that any of your operating system works into two domain. There is a user account and then there is a kernel based account. And this software has some installation to access the sensor data into kernel. And there was an update which was provided by CrowdStrike without actually testing it. There was some input field, with a maximum allowed 20 input field which you can install in kernel-based application. And ultimately, CrowdStrike, the update which they provided, it had 21, and it again turned to a out, and then the error came. So that was a very minor incident in terms of what could actually happen under a cybersecurity incident, but this directly or indirectly hampered all of us. You talk about any of aeronautical, I mean, Indigo, various healthcare segment, so it directly impacted. And the, the solution to this was that they could have tested it before actually deploying the update to the system.
I will also be looking forward for any questions from the yeah, what is it? Just saying mic will be provided.
Good afternoon to the panel. Actually, I wanted to know that when did you started practicing DSA and all? Like I'm from computer science and computer science. So the first question is that when did you start practicing DSA? And the second one is like sir said that the data scientists need to have an edge over the others. So what is that we can do in comparison to the web developers or the app developers?
So what edge you are talking about? Like what edge data scientists have over? Like what is your question exactly about?
Like sir said that if we want to pursue in data science, business analytics and all, so we need to have an edge upon our peers. So I understand that the projects and all, but
See, I'll answer the question. See, if you do whatever is taught in your courses, everyone is doing that. Okay. And everyone is sitting for the interview or whatever thing that you want to do. So why should so you should always focus on your value proposition. What are you giving to the organization or what are you giving to that company? How can you help? So in order to prove that, you should showcase something. See, everyone is doing this. I did this extra. I can bring this value to your organization. That should be your goal. And that creates that edge that separates you from other people. So that is what you should focus on. And that is valid for like every skill that you have. Be it computer science, be it any industry, that extra thing that you do that keeps you apart from the crowd. That is the important thing that you need to do.
but we need we need to do. I understand that we have to do all this, but it's about the authenticity of the data. Like we don't know from where we are practicing or where we are like going for the competitive programming and all. but we don't know that how authentic the data is from where we are preparing for it. So, is there anything that you would suggest, like any website or something?
You are asking that you want a reliable source to learn something. See, if you go to YouTube, there are lots of open source organizations. Okay, like I can just name a few. There are multiple. There are just one free code company. Okay, it will teach you code from scratch till like a very good decent level where you can practice whenever. There are lots of courses you can explore that, and then there are universities who have open source their course on YouTube. You can just browse over their sources, and there are further professors who have made course themselves, and that is also open on YouTube. So just look for them and like you can just learn from. If it is coming from a credible source, like a free code camp is there, or something from GFOG is there, or some other open source community, it is credible. If it is coming from some random YouTuber, it might not be. It might or might not be. I can't comment on that.
Okay, my last question, preparing for hackathons. So, is it like going for the courses and then preparing projects, and is it or like preparing for hackathons is a completely different thing?
It totally depends on what sort of hackathon you're targeting. So I have gone to hackathons in my time, and both of them had a very, very distinct selection process. SPIT was different, and SIH was different. SIH in my time, we had direct interaction with industry leaders, the ones who posted the problem. But in SPIT, we had to first propose the solution that we are building, and then basis the solution that you're building, people were shortlisted, and then were invited to the final.
Okay,
Three
thank you.
key things. No, no. Preparing for hackathon is very, very three key things. Team needs to be good. There needs to be a dedicated pitch person who understands the business value proposition of the product that you're building. Again, connect to the first part. You need to build a product that solves an actual problem. You cannot just throw 100 different tools and build something random, expect the judges to be impressed with the tech that you're using. Number three, the team needs to have dedicated responsibilities. Because I was the pitch guy. Why was I the pitch guy? Because for the data science part of things can be done previous, uh, say 3 months before the hackathon also. If I'm building a model, I need not necessarily build it during the hackathon. So I had a lot of time. So I prepared the pitch. I was the one who pitched. But to prepare the pitch, everybody needs to work together. It needs to be a very cohesive team where every person has a specific skill set. Some overlap is of course very nice. It might not be the case everywhere. Prepare for the hackathon depending on the kind of hackathon it is.
Thank you.
And although we have one more question, we have many more questions from the audience. We'll be taking one more, then we'll be coming back to the audience.
Hello everyone, my name is Shobhit, and my question is, what do recruiters look for other than core abilities like engineering and academics? What do recruiters look for when they seek for talented people?
Actually, the market is not looking at the core brand that is just a cutoff. You have given an exam and that is the interview. What actually they are looking at is your soft skill, how well you can communicate, how authentic you are on your CV. You have mentioned n number of certification projects, and when a simple question is being asked on a project, you are just left blank. The authenticity, the confidence, what you have, the communication skill, what you demonstrate, that is what they require as a base. Rest everything, whatever you are learning here in your 4 years of degree, there would be some gap on the actual job, and every organization would be spending some time, to build your trainings on the actual role. But what exactly they are looking at is a soft skill.
Yeah. So communication is one he has already mentioned. Your body language is very important if you are appearing for a offline interview. So we at our time, most of the companies used to come to campus because it was a pre-COVID era. So every company used to come to the campus for interviewing face to face. So the biggest thing, so we have to prepare ourselves for the body language also. Okay, and literally we got that feedback from interviewing panels also that we checked this guy's body language and his posture was like this or like this. It was very casual. So they did not selected that. Like in some cases, people did a good GD round. GD round was good, but they were not shortlisted for the ahead for personal interview. So body postures are another. And another thing you asked that what do recruiters look from you other than purely engineering values. Other is the honesty. How honest you are about what you have done. One of the examples, like I was giving an interview for my third organization. I prepared my CV. I was the guy had opened my CV. He started taking interview बट एंड मैंने भी बना रखा था सीवी अच्छे से पर हुआ क्या ना उसने उल्टा स्टार्ट किया सी ही स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम द बॉटम इट वाज अ बिग बाउंसर टू मी बिकॉज नीचे वाला तो देखा ही था बहुत टाइम से अपडेट ही नहीं किया वी ऑलवेज फोकस ऑन अपडेटिंग द ऊपर वाला ना कि मैंने पिछली कंपनी में ये किया अपडेट माय स्किल सेट आई डिड द प्रोजेक्ट आगे उसको अपडेट कर दिया so he started from the bottom. So it is very important that whatever you have written in your CVs, that needs to be properly, thoroughly gone through, and you need to be very honest whatever you have done. If you are going to beat around the bush, they will beat you over there. So that's the grand thing. So be honest, whatever you do.
The follow-up, we have one minute answer.
Follow up.
What about internships? Like, do they offer internships just on the core value, or they look for something else?
No, internships also are just like placements only. You have to be good in your core skills as well. But then aptitude tests are there, problem solving assessments are there, and then soft skills are very, very important for internships. So one thing more I would like to add, your basic concepts should be clear. Basics are very important. You like mention your high five projects, whatever you have done. I've done this, got this certification, got that. But then you're something like as Prateek sir was here mentioning, one person didn't know the unit of a resistance. So like that is not the case. Your basics must be very clear. And then one thing more, you should participate in mock interviews. I think they'll help you a lot. Anyone want to?
Any other question?
We have a question.
I have a question for Tanmay, sir. You mentioned on your LinkedIn that you worked on a supply chain project. I wanted to ask how, like, what did you develop and how did you achieve it, and is it still going on?
So to answer the last part, right now it's not going on. It was a part of the problem that we solved was not really happening. It was a hard level problem posed by Hindustan Unilever to track and trace the supply chain. Why? Because post the Maggie issue that you are going to be aware of, there was a lot of lead. There was a specific batch of Maggie which underwent a lot of lead poisoning. It was a huge fiasco. Each and every single FMCG company, be it local or global, was screwed post that problem. So they wanted to trace and track the supply chain down to the last packet. I'm not talking about a specific batch. If say I pick up this specific bottle of Bisleri, I need to know what this specific bottle, what was the supply chain of this specific bottle, down to where it comes from. So we solved it using two basic technologies. One was blockchain, which was used to track and trace the entire bottle. Uh, so to be very specific here, every bit, every part of the supply chain had a specific code associated with it, which we directly worked with the mentors on the side of the hackathon. We made some very basic assumptions. The supply chain had 5 nodes, but we also built a solution to entertain a variable number of nodes and cases where, say, a warehouse, there's a warehouse to warehouse transfer, which is our problem. The other thing was solving the problem of scanning uh, an absurdly large amount of packets in a given warehouse. I solved that using machine learning. But if you wish to really dig deep into how I and my team solved that problem, we can discuss that later.
How can we discuss that?
We could discuss that later if you want
Okay,
to
okay.
really dive deep into the text.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
some questions from our side. Rajana, please question this question before specifically because we have worked in both private and the government sectors. So, what were the key differences that you feel that are there in those both the sectors, and which one is more comfortable, and what are the challenges in both of them?
This is a very good question. Nowadays, like it is the best question. Like, so I have 1 year experience in corporate, as I already told, as a research and development intern. It was on electronic side at Striker. It is a global medical technology company. And then, because from the starting only, my inclination was towards government sector. So I was simultaneously preparing for GATE exam as well as other PSUs. So when vacancies were there in PSUs in Punjab, so I like cracked the exam and then I got selected here. So coming to the differences. So first main difference is work-life balance. Work-life balance is there in government sector, but not in private sector. I'll not generalize this statement because there are still companies in private sector which offer work-life balance. Then if we talk about compensation, there is a fixed pay scale in government sector, and however in private sector there are performance-based bonuses which are not there in government sector. Your promotion is not performance-based. Your pay will increase based on your seniority or tenure there. Then the work culture. So in government, there is a slow pace of work. It is basically based on some clear set of procedures, policies. You have to adhere to certain protocols, and then only you can work upon. Whereas in private, there is flexible working environment. Uh, there is no set of rules you have to follow. So it is a bit of informal. So nowadays, like earlier, it used to we used to say that government job is better, private is not better. Now, what I feel is it is on your priority what you want. If you want more growth, you have to like go and explore places. Like computer engineers, they don't have any option. They have private sector only most. For electrical engineers, they have the option whether they have to go in coding part or they have to go for public sector. So I'll really say there are so many opportunities for electrical engineers in public sector. PSUs like IOCL, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, NTPC is there, ONGC is there. These are very good PSUs which offer comparable pays to private companies. So if you want to if you want and go and work there, you'll experience a good working culture. Like Power Grid is number one PSU which recruits on basis of GATE score. So it is a public sector. Public sector unit basically means it is not purely government. 60, 70, 80% is of government and other one is private. So there is a lot of growth there in PSUs as well, rather than state electricity boards. So there are not many options. It is just on your choice where you want to go. If you want to go for government, get a better job security. Like if you want to serve directly to people, what I feel, then you can go for government. Otherwise, private opportunities are there. And then you stand out of the crowd when you are working in government. Like as I'm working as an assistant engineer here at SDU at PSTCL, I really stand out of the crowd. There are so many computer engineers. Whenever they say he's in Bangalore or whatsoever, the respect that you get, I think, being a gazetted officer, that also pays. So there is one more line. Engineering services exam is there. If any one of you want to go for gazetted post, so that exam is basically covers four main branches only. It is for civil engineers, electrical, electronics, and mechanical engineers. If computer engineers want to give this exam, they have to give it through like electrical engineer or mechanical engineer branch. So if you want to go for guested group of services class A, if anyone is here civil services aspirant, then you should surely like be clear with your vision. This first year is for you to explore all the opportunities, and then you can decide upon a clear path. What do you want, and you can start working for it. Any questions are most welcome.
Due to time constraints, we cannot have more questions from them and even from us our side. So now we'll be moving forward with the anchor for this event. I'll be inviting our anchor for the evening. Uh, Move forward with the proceedings.
As we conclude this year's alumni panel, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude for the alumni for taking out their invaluable time and gracing us with their presence today. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the entire first team for their help throughout the event and thank the audience for each of your presence and contributions. Your participation has truly enriched our event and reaffirmed the strength of our network. Thank you all for making this gathering memorable and continuing to support our shared vision. I would also request everyone to please remain seated. The Frosh and SI team will soon carry out the disposal.
Please, huge round of applause for the organizing team. And just one last thing, like everybody said, ये करो, वो करो, वो करो. हम लोग भी सुबह से ज्ञान बांट ही रहे हैं. Just one last thing, करोगे ना? क्या? Chill, chill करो. That's what I would say. Chill करो.